Coming up on News 11, it's Buffalo Restaurant Week here in Western New York with many locations across the region participating. A fire broke out early Monday morning on University of Buffalo's campus, causing students to evacuate their dorms. And lastly, in sports news, Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin has officially been cleared to resume football activities. These stories and more, News 11 starts right now. Welcome to News 11. I'm Topher Elkins.
And I'm Katie Lee.
And Katie, I know you've been on camera for weather, but how excited are you for actually anchoring for your first time?
I don't know. I think it'll be a little different, but I'm excited.
All right. Well, we do have a lot of stories to get into, so we're going to jump right into them. The SUNY Fredonia Senior Class Picnic will be held next Tuesday, April 25th. Tickets are on sale now at the tickets office in the Williams Center. The picnic itself will be held from 3:30 p.m. until 6:30 p.m. on the Williams Center patio. Tickets are $5 for students and $10 for anyone else. There will be games, a raffle, and a free senior sticker for attendees.
On Monday, University at Buffalo students were evacuated due to a fire that broke out at the Ellicott complex on the college's north campus. Firefighters attended the scene at around 3:30 a.m. and found the fire in a dumpster. Students living in Fargo Residence Hall were evacuated as there was smoke on the ground floor of the building. The fire was extinguished after just 20 minutes. While authorities are unsure what started the fire, an estimated total of $300,000 were reported in damages. No injuries were reported.
Major donors of Nardin Academy have announced it will withhold support until the Board of Trustees makes an immediate leadership change. The Keene family, major donors towards the school's Kevin T. Keene Sports Park, said in a statement on Sunday that they will withhold funding until President Dr. Sandra Betters steps down. They said following a leadership change, they will, quote, be actively involved in Nardin's renewal, which will benefit the entire community, end quote. The family of Daniel Keene, Leslie Keene, Stephanie Keene from the class of 2018, and Victoria Keene from the class of 2021 have called the situation heartbreaking. According to the family, they are concerned about the large number of faculty who have left their positions in response to the academy's current leadership.
After a documented delay, the McKinley Mall online auction has been rescheduled for next month. The Hamburg Mall, which was previously in foreclosure and then bought in a sale that finalized in 2021, was originally scheduled to be sold via online auction this week. The sale has been moved to start at 11 a.m. May 15th and end May 17th, according to the Real Insight marketplace listing. The rescheduled date is due to the title commitment being delayed. According to an email from Real Insight, which states, quote, we want to give potential buyers a chance to review all documents prior to the auction, end quote.
On Monday, the Erie Canal Harbor Development Corporation Board of Directors announced that the 2-acre North Odd Block by Canalside is one step closer to being developed. The plans include a major housing component with a $160 million neighborhood containing 5 buildings with street-level shops and 367 apartment floors, half of which will be set aside for lower-income tenants. Erie County Harbor Development Corp. President Stephen Renali says, quote, we want to bring as many people down to the waterfront as possible to be able to not just come down and enjoy the day, but have a chance to live there just like anybody else, end quote. ECHDC selected Penrose Development Company to lead the project, which with high hopes to live up to the expectations. With no firm timetable in place, the developer estimated ground might not be broken until 2025, with the earliest move-in date sometime in 2027, 18 years after the Odd was torn down. Construction on a smaller piece of the North and Odd Block, the so-called Gateway Building, is expected to begin in May. The 4-story structure will contain new offices for the Erie Canal Harbor Development Corporation, meeting rooms, retail space, and restrooms, and will come with a more than $14 million price tag. The final phase of the Canalside development comes 14 years after the Memorial Auditorium was torn down.
An air sterilization project at a downtown nursing home has been proposed for $39,000 in grant funding by the mayor of Niagara Falls. It is planned to install a Sterispace air sterilization system in the Skolkoff Health Center's resident recreation room. Advanced age, fertility, and communal living conditions make nursing home residents especially vulnerable to contracting COVID-19 and other airborne viruses, Mayor Robert Rustano said. Rustano explains that the $39,000 proposed from the Niagara Falls Community Development COVID Fund would supplement a $190,000 donation by You First Services. The city of Niagara Falls said, in quote, air sterilization destroys more than 99.9% of all pathogens from air samples, which differs from HEPA filtration that may allow pass-through of viruses, mold, small bacteria, and allergens, and does not inactivate these contaminants. Residents congregate there to watch movies, read books, and engage in other extracurricular activities, end quote. The city goes on to say that the 1,504 square foot ground level room is a high occupancy space with a lot of traffic, and the project at the 120 bed nursing home is expected to be finished by August.
Murray Holman, a man who has been on the forefront of anti-violence plans in Buffalo, plans on running and says he wants a seat on the Buffalo Common Council. This Saturday, Holman of the Stop the Violence Foundation said that he is running for the Miston District seat. When he made this announcement outside the Merriweather Library on Jefferson Avenue, he was joined by several of his supporters. The seat he is running for is currently held by Ulysses Wingo, who is not seeking re-election, while two other high-profile names are planning to run for the seat. Zanetta Everett and India Walton both announced their plan to run in February. Holman has strong intentions while running for the seat, as he said he, quote, wants to bridge the gap between community groups and lawmakers, end quote.
This Monday began the celebration of Buffalo Restaurant Week. This week only, numerous restaurants in the Buffalo area are offering special deals. You can see more on the News 4 website throughout the week on all restaurants they will be visiting and the deals they are offering. For more information and useful tools to help you find restaurants based on location, cuisine type, and whether they are minority owned or not, you can visit Buffalo Niagara.
A group called Western New York Drummers for Homeless People hosted its second annual Country Jamboree on Sunday. This event is a musical treat that helps benefit the homeless people here in Western New York. 5 bands took stage for free at the Cove on Transit Road in Depew. They collected cash donations, but also other things like clothing and personal care items. 100% of the proceeds from the event will be split between 4 homeless shelters in the Buffalo and Niagara region.
As warmer weather comes closer, the popular attraction, the Maid of the Mist, is returning for the 2023 season at Niagara Falls with a fleet of all-electric vessels. The Maid of the Mist set sail on Saturday, April 15th at 9 a.m. with the electric boats named James V. Glenn and Nikola Tesla Maid. For 138 years, the popular attraction has provided guests from around the world with iconic views and experiences at Niagara Falls. And when we come back from a quick break, we'll have your national stories. We'll be right back.
When you think of the local lowdown, what do you think of?
Well, when I think of the local lowdown, it's the live music that we have played in the studio.
It's gotta be the laughs we shared, the memorable moments during the whole thing. Oh my God, so fun.
The local lowdown for me is the people behind the scenes, the amazing team that we have making the show.
Oh, it's gotta be exploring all sorts of genres and music I've never heard before.
Oh, easy. Going out to shows and talking to artists and getting the latest news on what they have planned for the future.
It's about these artists, man. Giving them a platform to showcase what they've worked so hard on and show their music to the community. It's all about supporting the local scene of music to keep it running for years to come. And of course, the band merch. You can't forget about the merch.
A Kansas City man is facing charges after shooting Ralph Paul Yarl, a 16-year-old boy, after he accidentally knocked on the wrong door on April 13th. Yarl was shot Thursday evening after his parents asked him to pick up his 11-year-old twin brothers, and he mistakenly went to a home in the 1100 block of Northeast 115th Street instead of Northeast 115th Terrace in Kansas City, Missouri. He was stable in a hospital with life-threatening injuries, police said. He was released Saturday and is recovering at home, said attorney Lee Merritt, who has been retained by the family. The 84-year-old who shot Jarl, Andrew Lester, is now facing 2 felony charges for the shooting. According to a probable cause statement, Lester told investigators he was scared to death by Jarl's size and his inability to defend himself at age 84. He also told investigators he was in bed when he heard his doorbell ring, grabbed a handgun before answering the door. He stated he believed someone was attempting to break into the house and shot twice through the exterior storm door within a few seconds of opening the main door, a police detective writes in the court document.
A mass shooting took place in Dadville, Alabama this weekend. The incident took place at a Sweet 16 birthday party that was crowded with people. 4 people were killed and 32 others were injured. Victims were ages 17 to 23. Police say they are still investigating the incident and have some, quote, solid leads, but still need help from the public. Following the incident, Vice President Kamala Harris tweeted, quote, "Enough is enough," end quote, and called for action from state and federal legislators. Harris said, quote, "Parents shouldn't have to pray their babies come home from school or a birthday party," end quote. The victims were identified as 23-year-old Corbin Damontori Holston, 19-year-old Marsha Emanuel Collins, 18-year-old Philstavius Dowdell, and 17-year-old Shankaniva Nicole Smith. The story is still developing.
A federal judge has again denied former President Trump's request to delay a sexual assault and defamation trial set to begin next week. The case was brought by former magazine columnist E. Jean Carroll, who alleges Trump raped her in the mid-90s. Jury selection is scheduled to start on April 25th. Last week, Trump's team asked Judge Lewis Kaplan to delay the trial, given the publicity around the former president's indictment in a separate case in New York. Trump's lawyers argued that a delay would allow for a, quote, cooling off period following Trump's indictment for falsifying business records to cover up hush money payments made to an adult film star, Stormy Daniels, to keep her quiet about an affair with Trump. Trump denies the affair. Monday, Judge Kaplan said it was, quote, pure speculation, and the attention surrounding the indictment would affect the ability to select a jury in the E. Jean Carroll trial. Kaplan also stated that the attention drawn to the Stormy Daniels case was, quote, invited or provoked by Trump's own actions, end quote. Judge Kaplan asked Carroll and Trump to say by Thursday whether they will attend the trial in full or part. According to Carroll's attorney, she plans to be present for it. Carroll alleges Trump raped her in a New York department store in the 90s and then defamed her by denying the assault, saying she wasn't his type and suggesting she made the allegations to boost the sales of her book. Trump has denied raping Carroll and any other wrongdoing.
Representative George Santos says that he will seek re-election in 2024, defying the calls for some Republicans on Capitol Hill and in his district to step aside. The embattled GOP congressman announced his candidacy Monday for New York's 3rd congressional district. Santos has admitted to lying extensively about his resume, education, and family background, and now faces federal and local investigations into his finances. As a result, senior Washington Republicans have told members of their party that they will not let Santos be the nominee for his seat. Still, he has maintained that he has no intention of stepping down early and is now officially running for office again.
Billionaire and Twitter CEO Elon Musk created a new artificial intelligence company. He's calling it X.AI Corp. State filing says it's being incorporated in Nevada. The private company is similarly named to Musk's idea of an everything app called X. Twitter also recently changed its company name to X Corp. The state filings were made in March, and the company has authorized the sale of 100 million shares.
A brilliant starburst feature shines in the latest image taken by the James Webb Space Telescope. The Space Observatory captured a bright burst of star formation triggered by 2 spiral galaxies crashing into one another. The colliding galaxies, known collectively as ARP-220, generated an infrared glow that contains the light of more than 1 trillion suns. For comparison, the Milky Way galaxy has a luminosity that is the equivalent of about 10 billion suns. The scintillating light show from the ultra-luminous infrared galaxy is the spiked starburst feature at the center of the new Webb image, which was released on Monday. ARP-220 is located 250 million light years away in the Serpens constellation, and it's the brightest of the three galactic mergers closest to Earth. These two galaxies began colliding about 700 million years ago, and as the gas and dust combined, a tremendous flare of star birth began. Each galactic core has a rotating star-forming ring that releases the bright infrared light that the powerful Webb telescope is capable of viewing in great detail. The new Webb image also reveals tails or material streaming away from the galaxies due to gravity, in blue to indicate activity as the galaxies continue to collide. Meanwhile, reddish-orange streams and filaments of organic material can be seen across the merging galaxies. Now, when we come back, Sarah Gorin will join us for sports, and Andy will give us our first look at the weather. We'll be right back.
To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love, so you can take me with you wherever you go, near or far. These stitches and threads join us together. Me, your mother, and both of you. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly.
Lights out.
Good night. And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
We're now joined by Sarah. What's new in sports this week?
Thanks, Katie Lee. Well, in local sports this week, the Ferroni women's lacrosse team traveled to SUNY Potsdam on Saturday and came home with a 19-11 victory over the Bears. Erin Wood scored a stellar 6 goals throughout the game, while Sydney Vuchko added a hat trick of her own. Goaltender Emily Carr delivered when her teammates needed her most, saving 6 of 6 shots in the final quarter. The Blue Devils will play their next match this upcoming Saturday, April 22nd, at home against SUNY Plattsburgh with an 11 a.m. start. In national sports, the Buffalo Bills and NFL community got incredible news yesterday, as only 3.5 months after being diagnosed with commotio cordis, a specific type of cardiac arrest, in the middle of a Monday night football game, Bills safety Damar Hamlin has been fully cleared by multiple specialists to play football once again. In his press conference, Damar said, quote, "My heart is still in the game. I love the game. I just want to show people that the fear is a choice, that you can keep going in something without having the answers and without knowing what's at the end of the tunnel. But just keep putting that right foot in front of the left one and you keep going. I want to stand for that," end quote. The Bills started their voluntary off-season program on Monday, and Damar was able to go through exercises with his defensive teammates. This return brings new excitement and hope as the Bills continue to move through preseason and get ready for the NFL Draft beginning on Thursday, April 27th. And even though they missed out on the NHL playoffs again this year, the Buffalo Sabres closed out their season with 2 great wins and a beautiful send-off for goalie Craig Anderson in their overtime win against the Ottawa Senators last Thursday. After a 20-year career, Anderson is retiring at age 41, the same number he wears on his jersey. During the final Sabres home game, he had a 30-save performance, but the highlight of the night was his teammates swarming him in a huge group hug after Casey Middlestat scored the winning goal in overtime. Love and support was felt all around as the fans chanted "Andy" in the crowd, and Anderson shared this moment with his wife and 2 sons. The goalie reins now look to be in the hands of rookie Devin Levi as the Sabres head into the break and get ready for next season.
That's pretty good about Damar Hamlin. I mean, only 3 months to come back. I think that's pretty good.
It's really incredible. I remember I think I was at work when I saw the news notification pop up on my phone, and my mouth dropped to the floor. I went to my boss because she's a huge Bills fan. And I was like, Damar Hamlin is coming back. It's incredible after what happened.
So now we're going to toss it over to Andy for our first forecast of the night. Andy, what do you have for us?
Starting for tonight, temperatures are gonna be sitting around a low of 42 degrees with partly cloudy skies. It might feel a tiny bit cooler outside with the winds too, as they sit right around 10 miles per hour right now. Jumping into tomorrow, we'll finally be getting a little bit of a nicer day, with it actually feeling a little bit warmer than the last few days. The temperature will reach a high of 69 degrees with partly cloudy skies and a low of 60 degrees later in the evening. We should have a couple of warmer days this weekend too, but I'll get back into that later. Back to you guys.
All right, and when we come back, we'll have your international headlines. We'll be right back.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles, watching each other's backs,
And banding together.
we should still make an effort
We should still make an effort.
to get to know each other.
On a deeper level. Father.
Cosplayer,
Mentor.
actor.
It's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward. Come together.
and discover
How accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza. Yes.
Make a plan today.
According to U.S. Central Command, 2 armed individuals were also killed after U.S. forces conducted a raid against ISIS militants in northwest Syria this past Monday. According to their statement, extensive planning went into this operation to make sure no U.S. troops were harmed. According to CENTCOM spokesman Joe Bucino, quote, the raid resulted in the probable death of a senior ISIS Syria leader and operational planner responsible for planning terrorist attacks in the Middle East and Europe, end quote. The military identified the leader as Khalid Adid Ahmad al-Jabari. Even with the damage done, ISIS remains able to conduct operations within the region with a desire to strike beyond the Middle East. CENTCOM Commander General Eric Kurilla states that they will continue the relentless campaign against ISIS.
China's military states they are, quote, ready to fight after undergoing 3 days of combat drills. During the drills, they simulated a blockade of Taiwan. The conflict comes as China does not consider Taiwan to be a freed nation, but rather a breakaway province, which they might take back by force. China still views Taiwan as a part of China. On Monday, the Taiwanese Defense Ministry tracked recalled 91 Chinese fighter jets crossing the maritime medium line between the Taiwan Strait. The drills involved Su-30 and J-11 fighters, Navy destroyers, and missile speedboats, practicing to, quote, encircle Taiwan. The United States is monitoring the issue, and states feel that they, quote, comfortable and confident that they have the resources to keep the peace.
Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich will remain in a Russian jail, at least for now. The U.S. citizen appeared in a Moscow court on Tuesday to appeal the terms of his detention and ask for pre-trial house arrest, but the court denied his request. Gershkovich faces up to 20 years in prison. He was detained in Russia last month on espionage charges, in a sign of the Kremlin's crackdown on foreign media news outlets since it invaded Ukraine last year. U.S. Ambassador to Russia Lynn Tracy said she spoke to Gershkovich Monday and that he remains strong and in good health. She called the charges against him baseless. The Wall Street Journal has vehemently denied the spying accusations against Gershkovich. The U.S. State Department has officially designated him as wrongfully detained in Russia. Gershkovich's legal team said it offered $613,000 in bail, but the court denied it. They said they will keep appealing against his detention. His next court date is scheduled for May. And after a short break, we'll be back with your trending stories. We'll be right back.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
After 35 years, the longest-running Broadway show in history went dark for the last time on Sunday. Andrew Lloyd Webber's The Phantom of the Opera has been enormously successful in its 3-decade run, earning over $1 billion. It originally opened in London's West End in 1986, and Sarah Brightman and Michael Crawford originated the lead roles as Christine Day and the Phantom. However, when the production's end was announced last September, surging ticket sales extended its run for another 2 months. Laird McIntosh, who stepped in for Ben Crawford, who was sick, and Emily Cowchitow were the last to perform The Phantom of the Opera on Broadway. Webber dedicated the final show to the memory of his son Nick, who passed away due to gastric cancer at age 43 in March. Brightman remembered Nick, saying that he was around when Webber was writing the music. Quote, "When Andrew was writing it, he was right there, so his soul is with us. Nick, we love you very much," end quote. The last night ended with Brightman singing one of Phantom's most famous songs, The Music of the Night, along with the current past cast and crew members.
After the 4th season of hit Netflix show Love is Blind, fans were highly anticipating the live reunion special, but it fell short after Netflix had some complications. The episode was hosted by season 4 couple Vanessa and Nick Lockley and was supposed to rehash old drama and update the fans on what their lives have been since the season. But as viewers were just tuning in, Netflix tweeted out to fans that the stream was going to begin in 15 minutes. As time ticked by, the Netflix screen read there was an issue with the live stream. Although some fans were able to watch the reunion with some technical glitches, others were left waiting for the Netflix screen. At around 9:30 p.m., 30 minutes after the episode was supposed to air, Netflix tweeted out, quote, "To everyone who stayed up late, woke up early, and gave up their Sunday afternoon, we are incredibly sorry that Love is Blind reunion did not turn out as we had planned. We're filming it now and we'll have it on Netflix as soon as humanly possible. Again, thank you and sorry," end quote.
HBO Max has announced that they are officially making a reboot of the Harry Potter books as an official series on their streaming service. It has been confirmed that each book written by J.K. Rowling will be a separate season within the series. An entirely new cast will play the fan favorite characters. It has been confirmed that J.K. Rowling will oversight the series, acting as the executive producer as well. The series will occur over the course of 10 years, allowing the cast to grow up with the series in a way that truly goes along with the books. No actors have been announced, but HBO Max did release a short teaser that can be found on their YouTube page.
All right, well, not gonna lie, we don't have a lot of time to talk about it, but quick opinion, what's your favorite Harry Potter movie? If you can pick one, just quick. Just off the top of your head. We're gonna go with quick.
I'm gonna go with the Goblet of Fire.
Okay, that's a very solid pick. Okay, I'm gonna go with Order of the Phoenix. But because we're short on time, we're gonna toss it right over to weather for Andy. So Andy, what do you got for us for the weekend?
Well, jumping right into the weekend forecast, Friday we're going to be seeing a mix of clouds and sun early morning with some clouds rolling in later in the day. Temperatures are going to reach a high of 76 degrees, but with the wind picking up back up a little bit, it may feel a little bit cooler than the temp suggests. Later that night, temperatures will reach a low of 54, and there will be a chance for rain. Saturday morning, we'll start off a little bit on the warmer side, around 67 degrees, but rain showers will evolve into more steady rain in the afternoon, causing temperatures to drop into the low 40s. And lastly, temperatures won't change as much from Saturday nights. However, the skies should clear up a bit by Sunday evening with occasional showers throughout the night. Hopefully, the weather starts to warm up again soon. Back to the desk.
All right, well, that is going to do it for News 11 this week. Thank you to everyone behind the scenes.
And of course, thank you to everyone watching at home. We'll be back next week. Have a great night.